You indicated that this cost-benefit analysis is ongoing. When will you have something? I assume you'll have something for lawmakers before they finish their budget. You've already indicated you don't like what they wanted to do with the IPEP, with the Grow Iowa Values Fund.
Certainly. Actually, we're having conversations kind of as we speak. I'd like to do it in more of a holistic approach, but even as legislation gets introduced, what's happened over the years for the department, when they haven't known where else to pin something, a good idea, it ended up coming to the Department of Economic Development. And so that's great when the funding is attached to it, but then what happens in budget cycles, the funding goes away, we're still left with the responsibility of accounting for this. So we are going through and identifying those missions, because again, we have to manage the results, and everything we do in the department have to be moving us towards that greater goal of creating those livable jobs. And then everything else, there's a lot of good programs in the department now. I just think they would be better suited in other agencies. And so we're beginning to work on that. And also that's a great way for me to introduce Director Whaler, who's here with the Iowa Workforce. The other thing that the governor and lieutenant governor have really called us to do is to work in partnership and collaboration. And so, you know, even on Friday we had a meeting with Susan Voss of the insurance to kind of talk about that platform, how do we grow that. So you're seeing us solve problems across state line, and that's when we're having those conversations. Teresa's going to help me just identify how we're going to measure these jobs, what measure we're going to do going forward. So, so we are in the process of doing that.
So when will it be done?
Well, it needs to be done, and the reason the legislation is drafted the way it is, that we're taking everything currently the department does into the authority, because what I don't want to happen is for us to create unintended consequences, quite frankly due to my ignorance right now, because I'm just learning what it is we do. And every day there's new surprises for me. So, so what we'll do is go through that, and the plan is to have it back to them at the end of the session, because I can't just get rid of those programs. Neither can I just pass them over to Workforce or wherever they need to go. I have to have permission to do that. So the plan is to have that done before the legislative session, that we can do some cleanup.
But they'll need to know that.
Right. Well, there's going to be a thoughtful transition here. For instance, we're analyzing. Remember this: we've only been on the job for just a little over 2 weeks. So, you know, and we've got a real big financial mess to try to straighten out to make sure that we're using ongoing expenses for ongoing income for ongoing expenses. We have a 5-year budget projection that is balanced for every year of the 5 years, and we intend to see to it that we do things in a thoughtful and systematic way. But you know, so we inherited what we inherited, and we have to live with what we have. But we want to make sure that we have the best new approach towards dealing with this, and have accountability in the process. So, and we will work with the legislature. It's like, frankly, there's more. We'd had more time. I think we could have found more things to eliminate. And we did eliminate a lot of things in the budget proposal that we made. But we will work with the legislature and the subcommittees as they work to identify things that can be done differently. But, and we know that we have to work through the process. And the other thing is the collaboration. In recent years, there has been no joint meetings of departments. We intend to meet with workforce development and economic development, and the insurance commissioner you brought up. The insurance commissioner brought to our attention such the fact that if you re-domicile in Iowa, there's a fee to do that. But we want to encourage insurance companies to re-domicile in Iowa. It's like a $10,000 fee. It's just an impediment. We want to get rid of that. It doesn't bring in a lot of revenue, but it certainly is a negative signal to insurance companies we want to attract to Iowa, and we're working to try to bring some of those here. That's something we had success on in the past, and I think we have more success on in the future.
Governor, what were your initial thoughts on the 9 names you got for Supreme Court Justice last week, and are you going to take the full 30 days to pick your 3?
Well, I take the responsibility very seriously. I was disappointed that I didn't get more women. We had 11 women apply. They only nominated one. I, however, believe that I need to thoughtfully and carefully review and interview each of the candidates and make a decision within the 30 days. And we'll try to find the best 3 to serve on the Supreme Court. Yes?
Speaking of the same-sex marriage amendment, do you think the proposal goes too far that it's banned certain views?
Well, it's my understanding that, first of all, I think the people of Iowa should be given an opportunity to vote on reinstating one man, one woman marriage. It's always been my position that the details of any legislation, and this is not a bill, it's a resolution, that will actually not come to the governor, but has to pass two general assemblies and then go to a vote of the people. But I think the people of Iowa would appreciate and feel strongly they should be given the opportunity to vote on this issue. And I think that played into the fact that the three Supreme Court justices were defeated in retention because people were not given an opportunity to vote on this issue. And I think it would be a mistake not to let people vote on it.
Do you have a deputy who's helping you in reviewing the record of justices, the prospective justices? Are you bringing in someone else or outside?
Brenna Finley is the legal counsel here in the governor's office, and she'll be working with us. The Lieutenant Governor and I, Chief of Staff, will all participate in the interviews of the candidates. And we will be reviewing, and also the people can write or email the governor's office with their comments or suggestions or ideas with regard to any of the candidates. And we will be reviewing their history and background. And I also believe very strongly that we need to be able to look people in the eye and ask them questions, and I do intend to do that. And we intend to set aside an hour, I think, for each candidate, so we'll have an adequate time to have a very thorough interview of the candidates, and we will also review their background and experience and those that have served on the bench, their opinions they've written, and things like that. So we intend to take this very, very seriously. I know how important it is, and I want to do the very best job I can to choose of the 9, 3 to serve on the board.
Would candidates' prior position on the Barnum case weigh into your decision on whether to choose them?
Well, I think that certainly is an issue that Iowans have a concern about. It's my intention not to talk about specific cases, but to focus instead on the candidates' fairness, temperament, their knowledge and experience, and also their philosophy. Respecting and recognizing the fact that we have 3 branches of government and the powers of each are limited, and respecting and recognizing there are times when the court does need to exercise judicial restraint as well.
So just as a follow-up, the question was if the resolution goes too far, what they're asking is also to do away with legal recognition of civil union. Should Iowa take that step?
Well, I think that's a legislative issue to be resolved during the process. But I think what the people of Iowa want is an opportunity to vote on restoring one man, one woman marriage. I think that's what the focus should be.
When do you think those interviews for?
Probably next week. We need to have, but we have 9 to interview, and we have a window of 30 days, and so we need to get started on it, and we're going to take it very, very seriously, and we have a lot of research to do in preparation.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
See you for a while. Good to see you. Very good. So I confuse you more? The last time you